Hello, welcome to our channel, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about five kingdom classification. So in the previous lesson we have discussed about two kingdom classification. Here we are going to discuss about five kingdom classification along with a little bit introduction about the kingdom Monira. Okay, now let us start about our discussion five kingdom classification. Okay, what is meant by five kingdom classification? It means it is a type of classification which contains five kingdoms. Okay, it means animals or organisms that has been divided into five kingdoms. So who did that? It is proposed by the R.H. Whittaker. R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969, and he classified the organisms into five groups or five kingdoms. Those five kingdoms are known as Monera or Kingdom Monera, Kingdom Protista, Kingdom Fungi, next Kingdom Plantae, and also Kingdom Animalia. Okay. So in the previous lecture, it means in the previous chapter, we have discussed up to some extent about the Kingdom Plantae and Kingdom Animalia, but not in detail. But in this chapter, the chapter 2, we are going to discuss in detail about all these kingdoms from the Kingdom Monera to the Kingdom Animalia. Okay. So we have discussed that five kingdom classification was done by the R.H. Whittaker in the year 1969. But on what basis he has done the classification? Okay, if you see here, there are some criteria. The few criteria has been taken and also based on the comparative characteristics. The two main principles is one is the comparative characters and also next is the few criteria. These are the two things. Based upon these two things, the organisms has been divided into five kingdoms. Okay, from the Monera to the Animalia, or Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. Okay, so what are those five? What are those main criteria and what are those comparative characteristics? First, comparative characteristics means, so we are going to compare one organism with the another organism. So on what aspects they are different. So this is known as comparative study or comparative characteristics or characters. Okay, next the criteria. So if you see here, we can differentiate or we can classify the organisms based upon few characteristics. So first one is a cell structure. Okay, each and every organism has its structure. Okay, so if you see the cell structure, the bacteria contains cell wall. Okay, while animal cells do not contain cell wall. So the main cell wall importance is to provide a structure to the bacterial cell. Okay, so next, thallus. What is meant by thallus? Thallus means mainly the plant-like structures or organisms where there are no proper roots, no proper stem, and no proper leaves is present. It means so completely a little bit confused in that way. So there is no proper. You cannot distinguish the roots. You cannot distinguish the stem, and you cannot distinguish the leaves. So in such cases, we can call those plant-like organisms as a thallus. Okay, so based on the thallus, next is organization. Okay, so what is meant by organization? So in what way these the organs or whatever the things is organized in their in the organism. So next, mode of nutrition. So what is the mode of nutrition? Mode of nutrition means in what way they are going to take the nutrients. For example, if you take the phototrophs, autotrophs, heterotrophs, and so on. In what way they are going to take the nutrition? For example, if you take the fungi, they are going to do the external digestion. Okay, they are going to take the digested juices or digested food material outside the body. So if you take the plants, they are going to do the perform the photosynthesis and so on. Again, the next, reproduction. Reproduction is also different in different organisms. For example, if you see in plants, there is asexual reproduction and also sexual reproduction. In human beings and in the higher animals, you will see there is sexual mode of reproduction and so on. Next, the phylogenetic relationships. Phylogenetic relationships means so how the organism is related. It means the ancestors. So previously there was one ancestor, so there is a huge genetic changes in them or evolutions in them. So hence there you can see one organism is related to the other organism in one or some way. Okay, so that is known as evolutionary relationships, or simply you can call it as a evolution. Okay, so next, based on improvements in understanding of the characteristics. Okay, so evolutionary changes may occur in the classification in the future. So over time, the attempts has been made to evolve the classification system, which reflects not only the morphological but also physiological. So what is meant by morphological? Morphological means external study. So just by looking at the organism, you can identify some characteristics. For example, if you take the cow, so you can see external heads, horns, ears, and also ear and eyes and so on. So these all are the morphological characteristics or morphological studies. So next the physiological. What is physiological? Physiological means inside the body how organs are placed. Body contains organs, body organs, how these organs are placed, and what are the enzymes that are present in the cells or in the blood or in the organism and so on. So such kind of things comes under the physiological. Okay, so next is the reproductive similarities. So in what way they are reproducing, and in what way one organism is similar to another organism with respect to the reproduction. So, but also phylogenetic. Just now we have discussed the phylogenetic means evolutionary relationships between one organism and another organism. So that is based on the evolutionary relationships, or you can just simply call it as a phylogenetic relationships. Okay. So next, this is the table that is going to describe about the five kingdom classification proposed by the R.H. Whitaker in the year 1969. Okay. So here you can see from the Monera to the Animalia, in between Monera, Protista, fungi, plantae and Animalia. So these all are the five kingdoms. So based upon the similarities, based upon the few characteristics and criteria, we have differentiated the whole organisms into five kingdoms. Okay. First, let us take the few criteria or few characteristics. So what are the few characteristics? First is the cell wall, cell type. So cell type means the cell may be prokaryote or eukaryote. So Monera contains all bacteria, all organisms which is placed under the Monera are the prokaryotes. So from here, from the Protista to the Animalia, all are eukaryotes. Eukaryotes means these are the organisms that are placed in these kingdoms, and especially these eukaryotes has a nucleus inside the cell. There is a nucleus. In the nucleus there is a DNA. Okay, but in the prokaryotes, the cell is there. Inside the cell there is no proper nucleus. It means hence the DNA is naked. Naked means it is freely floating in the cytoplasm, and they do not have organelles. They do not have proper cell organelles, but a few are present, that is especially the ribosomes. Okay, so this is the difference between the prokaryote and eukaryote. So cell wall. So in which organism the cell wall is present? For example, if you take the Monera, in the Monera we can see the polysaccharide and also amino acid combination, which leads to the formation of a cell wall. Okay, that is non-cellulosic cell wall. So next, Protista present in some. Okay, the plants in the fungi the cell wall is present, but that is made up of the chitin. You don't see such kind of chitin in the bacteria or in the Monera. Okay, and even though the plant is eukaryote, we can see the cellulose in the cell walls of the plant. Okay, plant cells. Hence, we can call it as a cellulose, or you can call it as a cellulosic cell wall. Cellulosic cell wall. So in Animalia or in the animals, the cell wall is absent. So next, nuclear membrane. Nuclear membrane means in the cell there is a nucleus, and in the nucleus there is a DNA. Around the DNA, just now we have seen the nucleus. The nucleus is made up of a membrane. Okay, so that membrane which is making the formation of a nucleus, that is known as nuclear membrane. So in the Monera, okay, especially bacteria is present. Just now we have discussed the bacteria do not have any nucleus, so the nuclear membrane is present. If there is no nucleus, what is the use of nuclear membrane? If there is no nucleus, no nuclear membrane, so it is absent. So in these organisms, nuclear membrane is present. Why? Because there is a nucleus. If there is a nucleus, then nuclear membrane is obviously present. So next is the body organization. So they are cellular, this is also cellular. That means single cellular, single cell. So here you can see the fungi is multicellular, or sometimes it may be loose tissue. So in the plants we can see the tissue. What is meant by tissue? The cells of similar type, function, and also similar characteristics, that is known as tissue. Okay, again the tissue forms into organ. Okay, so next in Animalia also the same thing, tissue, organ system and so on. Okay, example, if you take the heart is made up of heart cells. Okay, or cardiac tissue, cardiac cells. So these cardiac cells will form into organ, that is nothing but organ. Heart, it is an organ. So again these organs, heart, liver, kidney and so on, these all are coming under the organ system. So these organ systems make into organism. Okay, So next is the mode of nutrition. It is also another type of characteristics. So next is the Monera. It is autotrophic. So some Monerans are autotrophic. So in the autotrophic means, what is maybe autotrophic? Autotrophic means they can synthesize their own food material. They are known as autotrophic. Okay, and also heterotrophic. It means in these Monera, some bacteria can synthesize their own food material known as autotrophic, and some bacteria cannot synthesize their own food material. Hence, we can call them as heterotrophic. Okay, so in the autotrophic also the two types. One is the chemosynthetic and photosynthetic. What is chemosynthetic? By using chemical substances, they can synthesize their own food material. Okay, this is known as chemosynthetic. Chemo means chemical, and it's the photosynthetic. Photosynthetic means a light. By using sunlight, they are going to produce their own food materials. Here the photo means light. Okay, the sunlight. The sunlight is utilized for the production of the food materials. Okay, that is known as photosynthesis. And heterotrophic, hetero means on other. Okay, they are going to depend on other organisms. So there may be saprophytic or parasitic. Parasitic means depending upon the other organisms. Okay, so next if you come to the protista, so they are autotrophic and also heterotrophic. So if they are autotrophic, obviously they are photosynthetic. Okay, so next fungi, it is heterotrophic. Okay, so saprophytic and also parasitic. Okay, next plant autotrophic means same the photosynthesis. All plants are autotrophic. Most of the plants. Okay, there are few exceptions to the plants, but maximum is the autotrophic. So next animalia. Okay, in the animalia, it is a heterotrophic. All animals are heterotrophic. Okay, whether it may be human being, cow, donkey, sheep, goat, or whatever it may be, they are heterotrophic. They are going to depend on other organisms for the food material or for the food and energy. Okay, it may be the holozoic or saprophytic and etc. Okay, so the next is the kingdom Monera. We will discuss a little bit information or small description about the Monera. Okay, so this kingdom includes the sole members of the bacteria and can be found everywhere. So every means ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means they can found anywhere. So whether it may be sea or ocean, whether it may be desert or whether it may be hot springs or whatever the condition may be or whatever the natural condition may be, they are going to find, you can see the bacteria everywhere. Okay, so next the bacteria can live as a parasite or in extreme habitats. What do you mean by parasite? Parasite means these organisms are going to live in the host or other organisms. So here in the parasite, so let us consider this is the cell. Okay, this is the parasite. This parasite enters into the cell. Okay, and going to live inside the cell. So this is a parasite and this is the host or host cell. Okay, so this parasite is going to depend on the host cell for the survival and food, shelter, and so on. So this is known as parasite and host definition. So in extreme, they are going to live in the extreme habitat. Extreme habitat means higher temperature or lower temperature, that is known as extreme temperatures. Example: hot springs, deserts, snow, deep oceans, etc. These all are the extreme habitats. And it's based upon the shape of the bacteria. They are grouped under the 4 categories. So they are known as cocci. Okay, cocci means they look like spherical. Okay, these are known as cocci. Okay, so the cocci is the plural, coccus is the singular. Okay, so these all are the spherical. So next is the bacilli. So you might have heard about the lactobacillus. Okay, it is the bacteria that is used in the milk for the curdling. Okay, so they look like a rod. Okay, so bacilli or bacillus. So here the bacilli means the plural, bacillus means singular. Okay, they are rod shaped. They look like a rod shaped. Okay, hence we can call them as rod shaped bacteria. So next, vibrio. Vibrio means a plural, vibrii means a singular. Okay, they look like a comma shape. Okay, in this way they look like a comma shape. Okay, so they look like a comma shape or in this way. So hence we can call it as a vibrio. Okay, next is spirilla. Spirilla means spherical. Okay, or helical. They look in this way. Okay, so in this way they look. So hence we can call as a spiral. Okay, so next, the bacterial structure is simple, but they have the more complex behavior and show extreme metabolic diversity. Example: autotrophic means they may be photosynthetic or chemosynthetic. So especially if you see the plants, they cannot perform chemosynthetic. Okay, it is a simple gest, but they are more complex behavior. These bacteria has a complex behavior, and not only that, so they are heterotrophic and also they are autotrophic. So if you see the heterotrophic, the majority of the bacteria depend upon the dead organic matter for the food material. So what is maybe dead organic matter? For example, let us consider a dog is died on the street or on the roadside. So what happens? The dog is going to get decomposed after the dog gets starting decomposed. It means the dog will get infected, or dead body of the dog will get infected with the bacteria, or the bacteria grows in the dead body of the dog. So as a result, what will happen? The tissue, okay, the tissue will get broken down by the bacteria. Okay, broken down by the bacteria. Okay, so this broken down by the bacteria, it is known as, here you can see clearly, okay, this is the dead organism. So dead organism is get decomposed by the bacteria. Okay, here you can see the bacteria. So what the bacteria will do, they will damage the tissue. Okay, the tissue will get damaged. So what happens if the tissue will get damaged, all the particles or all the substance which is present in the cells will come out. Okay, so this is known as organic. Why these substance is known as organic? So what you can see in the tissue, that in the tissue you can see the DNA. Okay, so you can see the ribosomes, and you can see the sugars. Okay, and you can see the vitamins, all are present in the cells of the organism. So when the tissue is broken down, they are going to get they are going to come out. Okay, so they contains, whether you may take the DNA, whether you may take the ribosomes, sugar, vitamins, or etc., these components has the carbon in it. Okay, the main thing is carbon. So if these substances contains carbon, then you can call it as a organic matter or organic substances. So these organic substances are present in the cell, are present in the organism. Okay, and I hope this lecture is helpful to you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel and like, share, and comment. Your comments helps us to improve the quality content of this lecture. So provide your comments or the feedback, so that it will helpful to the providing better content. Okay, even more better and more improvements in the quality of the lectures. Okay, so and we will discuss the next topic in the next lecture. Okay.